In 2021, I got mad crazy into SEO. Already had my personal website and a local media brand. And then I decided, why not launch multiple other brands? This is working, this whole SEO strategy. So I launched 3 or 4 additional websites in addition to those 2. But then in 2023 and now in 2024, everything has changed. It appears that content websites are done, like they're through. I do think it's the reality for a lot of content websites. So what am I doing as a business owner? Well, I'll show you. So the last few years were booming. There was a lot of things going on. There was the pandemic. A lot of people were at home, so searches in general were up, and I think that that's probably part of the excitement that I found. I didn't even know that was the reason why I think a lot of people were having success in their sites and searches and using SEO. But looking back, hindsight, that's part of the reason is just the amount of searches I think were just up dramatically. And so if you've watched my YouTube channel, you've probably seen where I tracked literally the previous 2 years where I had the road to 1 million, where I was creating a monthly video recapping what's going on with the projects as I launch new projects. I was sharing revenue and expenses of those particular projects in my business. So just to kind of showcase and share the things I was trying and what I was doing. And it was awesome until it wasn't. So I've decided to only work on 2 and I'm going to scrap the other 3. Why? Why is that? Well, based on Google's actions, what they're doing, updates have been insane. If you guys are in the industry, you've seen the turmoil in 2023 carried on into 2024. It's wild. So Google's actions, which was my biggest traffic source, was from search engines, was Google. And while still focusing on that, I'm completely diversifying. Talk about that separately. But so Google Analytics or Google's actions. Artificial intelligence is another reason why I'm changing my game plan, just like what's going on in that industry, how fast it's changing, what I think that means for the horizon for websites and content websites in particular. And then also my gut. My gut is just adding these things up and telling me you got to do something different. And in the past, there have been times where I have not listened to my gut and I should have. Always listen to your gut. What Google's doing right now is ranking big legacy brands, right? Big brands. It's safe for them to put those guys in the search engine results, whether they have the best information or not. It's almost a safety mechanism for Google based on their reputation, right? Instead of relying or sharing smaller publishers, you might be a smaller publisher. I'm a smaller publisher. Instead of putting us, they're putting larger brands. So take that into account. And AI obviously can just instantly answer questions, right? Let's get real. You can ask a question, it can know the information based on it sucking up all the knowledge of the internet and spitting out what is an appropriate response and pretty darn well. My gut agrees with these 2 statements, which is why I'm taking the action that I'm taking. But my 2 projects, my 2 main projects that I had before I began kind of really growing, ever changing, ever evolving. They're here for the long haul. One is my personal brand. That's here forever. It can change and I can adapt and mold and do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. The other is my local media company. Very similar stance. It's diversified with traffic. So using SEO and social media and email newsletter and even events has grown the brand. And that will continue to do as the landscape evolves, will continue to evolve. And this year in 2024, I'm actually the most excited about growing YouTube for that brand, a local media brand. So I've had a YouTube channel personally. This one's now monetized. I plan to continue to grow this channel, but I think our media channel for the area has a lot of opportunity and I plan to continue to grow that. And that's really exciting to me as well. So ask me any questions about that. And looking back and rewinding, I was spreading myself way too thin. I thought that I could do the same thing I was doing for 2 websites. I could easily do it for 5 or 6 or more because I saw other people doing it. And I have a team. I had people that we were growing and expanding, and these other people had a team. But the thing is that when you really look at growing a brand or a site properly, I shouldn't even say properly, just in general, there's so much to do. Now, I made a list here. So there's directories, there's networking, there's content you have to create, there's updates. You got YouTube. How am I going to do YouTube times 5 brands? Is madness. It's crazy to even think about. So at the end of the day, I was just spread way too thin. way too thin across these brands. It's probably a good thing that all of them didn't grow. It's probably a good thing that Google has changed its direction and what it's doing, because I'd probably still be sitting today, maybe growing slowly on all of them rather than focusing on the few. Okay, so am I actually going to delete these other three websites that I'm talking about? Heck no, not a chance. I'm going to let them sit. There's actually a few of them, I think they have the possibility or the chance to be brands in and of themselves. So I'm absolutely not going to delete them. But for now, I'm going to let them hang out, stay put until I can decide what to do with them in the future. And of course, if things change with Google, or if I see growth with those brands, or I see something happening there, them starting to get ranked after having lots of content on them, I may put more energy back into them. So this year in 2024, I'm really focused on creating a lot of content on this channel about what I'm doing for the local media brand. So track along for that. I'm excited to share with you kind of actively what I'm working on, what I'm doing, what I'm trying, what I'm testing. And yeah, see you in the next one. Peace.